Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. 9 minutes with me from Rosie's Corner. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, and more. Come on down. Try the chicken wings as well. They're spectacular. The garlic parm, the gold fever, mild, hot, you name it, they've got it here at Rosie's Corner. It's a Fish Friday, by the way. You've got your fish and mac and cheese. You can pair it with the coleslaw and fries, whatever you'd like to do there. Rosie's Corner is a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Don't forget about Pepsi products in the cooler, desserts to go. All the salads in there as well, from chicken salads to mac salad and a pasta salad and more here at Rosie's Corner, right off the Bartell Road exit in Brewerton, right in front of the Brewerton Bridge, available on Grubhub, and also you can like them on Instagram, follow them on Facebook for updates as well. I want to talk about the Gary Gait hiring for Syracuse men's lacrosse, what it means, the future expectations, and also the legacy of John Desco, which I want to start with right now. As far as John Desco goes, this guy was an assistant for 19 years at Syracuse, and then Simmons gives him the head coaching job. Well, hired him as an assistant, and then Syracuse gives him the head coaching job to replace Simmons. And I mean, is there any more pressure than that? I mean, since the early 30s, there was nobody as a head coach named anything besides Simmons, right? It was senior, junior, and then Desco. I mean, you talk about pressure right there, but you know what? John Desco was the perfect hire at the time. He was the perfect hire through a couple of decades, because part of why it was a perfect hire was because he knew what to do, because he knew the program inside and out. He was a 19-year assistant. He won a bunch of national championships already as an assistant. And oh, by the way, before going to Syracuse, he went to West Genesee. I just recorded a podcast that'll air next week with Charlie Lockwood, the Lacrosse Hall of Famer, and Desco's a Hall of Famer as well. But those guys have that in common. The pressure to win is real at West Gen. You go to Syracuse, sure, it's amplified a little bit. It's the next level. The game's faster, all that stuff. But the pressure part, it's like going from the Alabama Crimson Tide in football to the NFL. The pressure part, you're used to some of that because the demands inside your small community are equal to the bigger community in Central New York overall. So Desco becomes head coach, and then he starts to roll. 5 national championships he wins. And you know what's amazing? For all the Syracuse fans out there who are yelling and screaming, oh, you haven't won since 2009. What's Desco done for me lately? In just over 20 years, John Desco won 5 national championships. Now, I understand that men's lacrosse is much different than NCAA men's basketball. More teams, could be more parity through the years, although right now at this point, I think lacrosse and men's basketball are pretty equal in terms of the parity. You look at lacrosse and how many people are playing it in how many areas, how many teams you didn't worry about 20 years ago. Syracuse, Hopkins, Princeton, Virginia. Now you worry about everybody. You got up-and-coming programs. You got teams knocking everybody off. You got Army playing well. You've got my alma mater, St. Bonaventure, is building a program. You've had Richmond knock off top-tier programs. The parity, it's pretty close. What am I getting at? Mike Krzyzewski has won 5 national championships in 4 decades plus of coaching. John Desco has been a head coach for half that amount and has the same exact amount of national championships. Plus, you add the bunch of titles he won as an assistant under Simmons as well. John Desco's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. He has a world championship from 2006 for a reason. He's a legendary, impactful guy. I think he has a 750 winning percentage all time, which is just spectacular. I think I read this morning, in the first, 9 years, or the first decade or so of his coaching around there, he was a runner-up 7 times and made 9 Final Fours. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. That's crazy talk. In fact, Charlie Lockwood, when he played for Syracuse, they went to 4 straight Final Fours and won 1. So it's hard to win a title. It really is. But John Desco, the legacy, it's cemented in. Hats off to one of the nicest guys I've ever talked to in sports. Hope he enjoys retirement. Hope to get him on in the near future as well. Now, on to Gary Gait, on to Syracuse lacrosse. I think the expectations are now going to be through the roof. We're talking about the Michael Jordan of lacrosse. Now, granted, I know that the young generation, they weren't around for Gary Gait scoring that cage goal. I get that, but that guy was an absolute marvel, and I think he'll be able to transcend the game a little bit. He'll be able to kind of take some of those old clips and all the rest and his vision and his what he wants to do. He's going to obviously have a world-class staff, and I think expectations are going to be through the roof. Syracuse has got to be a primo place where kids want to go play again. They got to look at Syracuse before they look at a lot of these other programs. Now you've got I just mentioned the Parity. You've got Notre Dame. You've got Denver. You have a million Maryland. You've got a million programs around the country. Everyone's going everywhere looking for places to play. And, you still got your Virginia, Princeton, Loyola's on and on. You got Duke, has been a power recently. Carolina, the entire ACC is obviously really, really good. You've had Cornell in the past. I mean, the game has just grown so much. Look at what John Galloway mentioned at Syracuse Lacrosse greats. Look what he's doing down there in Jacksonville. So it's hard to recruit. It's not what it was. Kids don't fall out of bed and go to Syracuse and Hopkins anymore. But Gary Gait has got to get some major recruits in here and take off. And I think they will. I think within the next 3 to 5 years, I think you're going to see Syracuse in a Final Four or two, and quite possibly a national championship for this group as well. And it's something that Syracuse fans, again, are dying for. This is a program like the Yankees in baseball. They haven't won a national championship in 12 years, 2009 in that epic finish against Cornell. So we're going to have to see what happens here with the future of Gary Gait. But I think this is, look, John Desco retires. What's the next best option? It's this. I mean, Gary Gait has won everywhere he's gone. Look at what he just did with the women's program. Phenomenal stuff there. He's got the namesake. He's the Michael Jordan of lacrosse. He can handle expectations. He played at Cuse. He knows what it takes. He comes from a lacrosse family. This has been talked about for a long time. Some years back, people wanted Desco fired, actually, to hire Gary Gait, away from the women's team. Well, you didn't have to fire John Desco. John Desco retires. This is the smoothest transition possible. Gait doesn't have to change addresses for his new job. Goes from the women's lacrosse office to the men's lacrosse office. Stays right up there on South Campus at Syracuse, and will try to return the Orange to national championship prominence. But I love the hire. I'm pumped. I think it's going to be great for Syracuse, great for the area, awesome for lacrosse, and expectations, I think, right now are not only through the roof, but maybe the highest they've been since Syracuse was going to Final Fours year in and year out. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's 9 minutes with me from Rosie's Corner. Make sure you stop on by for pizza and wing combinations plus Fish Friday. To go along with that, you can have your coleslaw fries and mac and cheese. They've got awesome, awesome salads and Pepsi products in the cooler and desserts to go as well. So make sure you get on down here to Rosie's Corner. Mac and cheese, by the way, is also available on Thursdays, so 2 days per week, Thursdays and Fridays. And you can get their subs hot and cold. The Italian mix is amazing. Had that the other day. You can get their chicken Philly to die for, plus other entrees like burgers and stuffed shells. You name it, it's here at Rosie's Corner, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Don't forget to download and subscribe to the ML Sports Platter all over the major podcast platforms. Download it, subscribe to it, and leave a feedback statement as well as a 5-star review. That stuff does help an awful, awful lot. And you can hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports and ML Sports Platter on Facebook and on Instagram. And you can also catch my ML Sports Take videos on all the platforms as well. Twitter, Facebook, social medias, TikTok, and IGTV, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. So get me all over the place. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Rosie's Corner. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.